So in about a month, I'll be going to MIT, but I'm not going there to get a degree or study. I'm going there for a very specific thing, for a workshop. However, I have had people telling me, if they offer you a scholarship, you should totally go to MIT, half jokingly, but also half seriously. To which I replied, yeah, sure, they're totally going to offer me a scholarship based on a game design workshop that I'm randomly going to when they don't even actually have a full game design program. Yeah, that'll happen. So, that's not going to happen, but it did got me thinking about, what if it did? What if for some, I don't know, random thing, they offer me a scholarship to go and study at MIT, which is, an incredibly prestigious school, and that's kind of a huge honor to get such a thing. Well, if it was any other type of degree anywhere else, then I'd probably say no. And there's a good reason for that, which we'll discuss in a second. But if it was MIT, yeah, maybe, because it's MIT, I'm not really sure. In any case, it got me thinking about degrees. And I don't have a degree. Let's put things on the table, first of all. I don't actually currently have a degree in anything. My CV is pretty good still. I'm pretty pleased with my CV. It has a lot of stuff in there, a lot of experience in various fields, and I have gone through a lot of programs, game design, and I studied voice work for a while, and I also have that year of game design program that I did. I have a lot of things, and I have a lot of experience, and I was also a coder for the Army, which is quite nice, but I don't have that degree. I don't have that piece of paper that people still think is incredibly important. And I want to talk about that piece of paper just a little bit, because I feel, and again, you should consider the fact that I don't have a ton of experience in the corporate world. I have some, but not a ton. 25. But it doesn't have as much impact as it used to have. People still consider he has a degree. A degree is still an important thing, but not so much as it used to be. And I think with very good reason. Because personally, when I took a look at what a degree is, and now we're going to go a little bit more specific in terms of computer science and a BSc in computer science, because that's the field that specifically we're talking about. But again, I think it applies to a lot of other fields as well. I just didn't really want to do it. Specifically, people who are Army coders, like myself, we learn a lot. And to be honest, we don't really need a degree in computer science. If we think about what a degree is, it's basically time plus money equals knowledge and that piece of paper. And the knowledge part of getting a computer science degree, a coder for the Army doesn't really need that. Not entirely. Now, again, that's not entirely true, because there's definitely things that you learn in a degree that you don't learn in that. But the fact is that as a coder for the Army, you learn quite a lot, and you also get a ton of experience in various things, which is definitely very, very helpful and very, very important when you look for a job later on and for doing other things. If we take a look at what a computer science degree actually is, it is pretty simple to just take it apart. For half of it is pretty much math, and half of it is pretty much the computer science part, actually teaching you how to code and how to be a programmer. And that part can be further broken down into practical things that you need to just know how to do, and then all kinds of other technologies and all kinds of things to enrich you and make you better at your craft. And in terms of what the Army does, is pretty much that part, without pretty much any of the math. Now, if you take a look at the math and what's important about the math, it is definitely important. You need to know math, most importantly the practical math part, but a lot of what you learn in a computer science degree in terms of the math, not the most important thing for the majority of cases. I definitely need very, very advanced math if I am to build a 3D engine right now, or do specific things that involve a lot of math. That's definitely true. But for the majority of cases, the very extensive math that you have to study for a computer science degree, not that useful. That's simply the truth. It's simply just not that useful. At least I don't think so. But that's the academic world. And sometimes there's a very large disparity between the academic world and what the market actually needs outside, what you actually need to know how to do. And that is a problem, and that is something that slowly people are understanding, and that's why in most cases you'll see, if you're looking for a job, at least in my field, in the field of computing, you'll see BSc in computer science or equivalent experience. And experience does have a lot of weight to it, which is very smart to do. So the question was, should I really get a degree as a coder? And let me tell you, quite a lot of coders, Army coders, actually do go ahead and get that degree. I have friends today that are still trying to get their degree because, it's kind of hard to get a degree when you have a full-time job, which is the Army. And then even when they leave the Army, they still, they go through and get a full-time job and still try to finish their degree. So it definitely takes quite a while. And that's the thing. They have the full-time job, which they do, and then they go out and they continue their lives, but they still want to finish that degree, even though they don't really need it. But they still do it for that piece of paper, because that piece of paper still has meaning, and I think that meaning is diminishing, and it's also in people's heads that it's diminishing because you don't need it as much, because the academic world is so different. And there's so many other things that you can learn. There's so many other things. My CV, if you took a look, actually is pretty robust, has a lot of things that I studied without having a degree. And there's so many different ways of studying today. There's so many online websites such as Coursera, which I specifically have used in the past, which has proper courses, full courses from various universities. And in recent years, if I recall correctly, they actually you have the ability to even pay them a very nominal fee and send them a proper ID card for whatever that means for whatever country you're in, and actually get a proper, much more formal, much more serious report card of you did this course. And it's still not a degree, and most universities will still won't respect that towards a degree, but having a bunch of those means something. And I know personally for myself, I put the Coursera courses that I think are relevant in the CV if I ever show the CV to anyone, because I believe that they are relevant. And I've even considered putting some of the books that I've read just because I wanted to read them, such as a book that I just finished reading and I already put back, but I literally finished reading it today, which is called The Design of Everyday Things, which is a wonderful book for anyone who wants to do anything in terms of design. It really is kind of a design 101 for any type of design that you could think of, any profession that has design in the world, and there are a lot of those. So you don't really need a degree in a lot of things. Again, this doesn't apply to everything. There's definitely things you need a degree for, and the degree teaches you exactly what you're supposed to do in the outside in the actual job, and that's I can't take that away in any case. But a lot of degrees just teach you kind of very general things, and the question really should be, if you take a look at the degree and you take a look at the outside world, there's two questions that you need to ask yourself. First of all, do I actually want to learn without connection to the outside world? Do I actually want to learn all of these things that this degree will teach me? And it'll never be 100%. It will never be. You will never see all of the courses that you're supposed to take and say, yeah, I want to totally learn all of that stuff. It'll never happen. But you should strive for a good percent, like 70 or 80% that you actually want to learn before taking a degree, because then you end up with a lot of crap that you just really don't care about. And then you gotta ask yourself, why am I getting that degree? Also, you have to look outside towards what you want to actually do when you step outside into the actual world and go work for something. And what are the things in that degree that will teach you towards that? But sometimes people don't know, and that's fine. I have no idea what I want to do when I go outside. That is a perfectly reasonable thing to say. My age, less than my age, and even a little bit more than my age, still not a huge problem, I'd say. And that's fine, as long as you're trying, you're learning new things. You're always aspiring to learn new things, and there's so many ways to do that today. So a degree isn't that big anymore. At least that's how I feel. And I highly doubt I'll ever get a full serious degree, but with the amount of stuff that I've learned and that I've gone through, and the amount of programs and report cards that I have, I think I have more than a degree at this point. At least I'd like to think that. And I think I'll be fine. And yeah, if MIT offered me a scholarship, I'd probably take it. Who am I kidding? But yeah, that's at least my thought about degrees, which took me a long time to say because there's a lot to say. But hopefully this was interesting. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.